Alright, what's up ladies and gentlemen? Hope your guys' day is going as amazing as mine. I'm back with another video, and today we're more on the positive side because from what I can tell from my personal experience, it is a good day in the world today. Alright, so firstly we're going to start off with the daily principle, then we're going to move on to the philosophical thing. I'm very excited to talk about the philosophical thing. I planned it out very well and I was reading on it and I did a lot of research on this philosophical thing, and I think it'll help a lot of people and it helped me a lot, so I'm excited to share that with you guys. And then I'll go into some of the stuff that I talked about yesterday, like some of the things my comments wanted me to talk about, which I'm still not fully prepared for that yet, but hopefully I will be able to film that today and put it in today's video to get it out as soon as possible for you guys. So with all that being said, let's get straight into the daily principle. Alright, so global equities were uneven as markets absorbed developments from the start of the week. Asian and European stocks traded cautiously with renewed risk appetite bubbling back in some regions after recent turbulence. Volatility remains elevated, but overnight data suggests a modest shift towards stabilization as investors position ahead of key macro releases. Gold and silver, after sharp sell-offs earlier in the week, rebounded sharply with gold up more than 5% as bargain hunters returned and fundamentals remained supportive. This was one of the largest single-day gains in bullion prices in years, signaling ongoing demand for monetary hedges and macro uncertainty. So, then was the time to sell, now is the time to buy. Gold and silver, I believe they're both good to buy right now. Not financial advice, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do with your money, just as a little observation. Major global stock benchmarks moved lower today, with technology stocks selling off as risk sentiment wavered. Meanwhile, energy stocks rallied, lifting by rising oil prices and geopolitical tension premiums. The US dollar saw mixed movement against major currencies as traders balanced policy news with risk repositioning. US President Donald Trump announced a trade deal with India that cuts reciprocal tariffs on Indian goods from 50% to 18%. Indian equities and the rupee rallied strongly on the news, with exporters expected to benefit from lower trade barriers. Analysts see this as a major strategic reset and tangible catalyst for foreign investment flows. The Indian rupee strengthened significantly against the US dollar on the trade deal news, posting its largest daily gain in years. Other currency markets showed cautious trading as central bank policy expectations remained uncertain. These shifts reflect both flows tied to the trade sentiment and risk repricing around global monetary policy. Bitcoin and other digital assets continue to trade lower as global investors remain cautious amid leadership changes at major central banks and ongoing macro uncertainty. Crypto's volatility is acting as a barometer for broader risk sentiment rather than the independent asset driver at this stage. Rebound in gold and silver shows safe haven demand remains structurally strong even after metal price corrections. Equity volatility persists with technology under pressure and energy gaining as geopolitical risk stays priced in. Global equity stabilization cues point to tentative confidence returning, but not broad conviction. The US-India trade deal cutting tariffs is a strategic shift with real market and currency impact lifting Indian assets and repricing flows. FX moves reflect that the policy expectations, including central bank decisions, are still a dominant driver for risk assets. Iran negotiation dynamics complicate the diplomatic outlook and can sustain risk premium in oil and defense markets. Geopolitical concerns, especially around negotiations with Iran, can keep energy prices elevated, which can show up at the pump and in transportation costs. Precious metals recovering strongly suggests households and portfolios are hedging against uncertainty. Safe assets often outperform during volatile periods. The US-India trade deal lowering tariffs may increase supply chain integration and can eventually translate into lower costs for imported goods and industrial inputs, though the process is gradual. Mixed markets mean everyday investment portfolios may see higher volatility. Diversification remains important as broad trends, not headline news, drives performance. Okay, so that wraps up the non-philosophical things that I wanted to talk about. So as we saw, a couple good things today, a couple bad things, but overall I think it was a genuinely good day, and we need to have more days like this. So with that being said, let's move on to the philosophical thing. Okay, so for the philosophical thing that I want to talk about, it's like a lot of the philosophical things I talk about, part of today's video title. That title being, be proactive and not reactive. Now, I'm gonna go into what proactive people are and what reactive people are, and then you can choose which one you guys wanna be. Firstly, starting off with reactive people. Reactive people tend to blame everyone else for their own mistakes. So they could be doing something completely wrong and still blaming everyone around them, which puts you into an insanity cycle, because then you start asking, why is nothing changing? Why can't I get anything done? Why does nobody like me? So on and so forth. So this is kind of how my videos all kind of link together, because I talked about insanity cycles, perpetual cycles, and now I'm talking about reactive people. And reactive people tend to fall into insanity cycles, which is really bad, I would say. And so yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about how I classify reactive people and proactive people. And like I said, you guys get to choose which one you want to be at the end of the day. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with reactive people. Like I said, blaming everyone else for their own mistakes, not taking any accountability, getting upset at themselves, getting upset at other people, reacting at things they shouldn't. So for example, somebody's mean to them. I'm gonna use myself as an example here. When I got some hate for doing this YouTube thing, I could have quit. I could have said, no, you guys don't understand. But instead, I took that hate, I turned it into views. That was one thing I did. And the next thing I did is I completely ignored it. And then they just stopped interacting with me because they realized what I was doing. Because I was benefiting, they were not benefiting. But then that's also kind of a proactive thing that I did, which I'll talk about later. So yeah, that scenario, people hating me on YouTube, people hating on me for doing YouTube. Being reactive would mean deleting my channel, stop uploading videos, don't try, talk back, name names directly, so on and so forth. That is not the right thing to do. Yeah, I take responsibility. It's my fault. I started a YouTube channel. I'm gonna take everything, all the responsibility that comes with it. Now that is what being a proactive person is. A proactive person is somebody who takes accountability, who takes responsibility for every single action that happens in life. And I'm talking, it could be the smallest thing ever, like, you forgot to take your dog on a walk that day and your dog pooped, so to speak, inside the house. Yeah, that's your fault. You didn't take your dog out on a walk. What do you expect to happen? That was a very simple example. I feel like that was a very good example. Next thing, when people talk bad about you, for example, I'm getting hate on YouTube, the proactive thing, which I did, I tried to do my best to do the proactive thing, and I think I did, was I used their hate for them to keep coming back and interacting with my videos because I didn't respond to them, so they had nothing better to do. They wanted to piss me off so much more so that I would directly respond to them. But what I did is I kept uploading, I kept ignoring them, I kept making good videos in my opinion. And at the end of the day, 1, I gained more views, 2, they stopped interacting with me completely because I won. I did the proactive thing and they understood that they cannot get a reaction from me. They understood that I'm not gonna react to them. So, like I said, if you are dealing hate with people, I'm using this scenario because it's a very simple, very broad scenario that you guys can kind of relate to. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people watching this video have at one point been, say bullied, or somebody has been hating on them, so on and so forth. So, if people hate on you, think about, now this loops back to the other thing I was talking about in my other video. If people are hating on you, why interact with them if you're not going to use that for your own good? If it's not for your own good, don't interact with it. Don't, fall into that trap of, talking back to them, arguing with them, so on and so forth. It is very important that you do your best to be proactive. Being proactive doesn't necessarily mean, that one example, taking people's hate and turning it into views and ignoring them, so on and so forth. That's good on its own. But another proactive thing you can do is just to be nice, be honest with yourself. Just be a good person, listen to your conscience, try to figure out, what can I do today that'll make me a better person? What can I do today to make someone else smile? And that's what it's about. That's what being a proactive person is about. It's about trying to figure out how you can be happy, how you can make other people happy, how you guys can win together, make a win-win situation for you and that other person. And that's another thing I'll be talking about later in the future. So it all links together perfectly. Everything that I talk about, you can take it, link it, and hopefully you guys can turn into a better person. Hopefully I can turn into a better person. Hopefully we can be better people together and really make a change in day-to-day life. Some people, this can improve your charisma. Some people can really look up to you because of how nice you are, and those people will start being as nice as you. And then it'll just start a chain reaction, and you'll feel so much better on the inside. You'll feel happier. You'll feel satisfied. You'll feel fulfilled. And it's just an amazing thing to experience. It's not every day. It could be like 2 people in a week that you were nice to, or 1 person in a day that you were nice to. But still, every time you're going to be nice to a person, that is going to make you feel better. Rather than saying, rather than reacting with the people that are hating on you, or reacting to them negatively, or hating yourself. That's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is hate on somebody else. So instead of hating on somebody else, be nice to someone else. I promise you, 100%, you will feel so good if you're nice to them, and you'll feel so bad if you hate on them. So yeah, hopefully this kind of sat with you. Hopefully it was a good philosophical thing. I'm very passionate about these specific topics that I talk about, because I spend a lot of time figuring out how to do them, how I can incorporate them into my videos, how they all link together, and how I can improve myself. And as I'm improving myself, I want to be the change in the world that I want to see, kind of, if that's something that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little piece. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so it's not really the next thing, I haven't really moved on, but I really want to shout out to the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. A lot of the topics I talk about are from that book. Specifically, this one, being proactive, is directly from that book, and I spent a lot of time reading it. I read it 2 to 3 times, and it really, opened my mind to a lot of the things that I talk about, and it really linked together a lot of the things that I also talk about. So, please, if you're interested in self-improvement books, and if you're interested in becoming a better person, you don't necessarily have to buy the book, but, start incorporating little things into your life that, being nice to someone else, so on and so forth. But if you do have a spare, $20, buy the book. It's an amazing book. It'll help you out a lot. Okay, so yesterday I mentioned that somebody in my comment section asked me to review the claims that Donald Trump was an informant in 2009. So that's exactly what we'll be doing right now. So here I have direct quotes and direct citations from articles and from people about this claim, and I'll be reading off of this just to not spread misinformation and nonsense to you guys. I have a little bit of evidence, 2 pages. I think it'll be like 5 minutes, so let's get straight into it. Okay, where does this claim actually come from? In September 2025, U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson said on camera that Donald Trump had been an FBI informant to try to help take down Jeffrey Epstein. The comment was widely reported and widely mocked because it was confusing and vague. Even administration officials seemed puzzled by what Johnson meant. What actually seems to be going on? Johnson's office backtracked and clarified that he may have misspoken by calling Trump an FBI informant, and that he was trying to say Trump assisted prosecutors at some point, not that he was formally registered as an informant. There's no credible evidence that Trump was officially an FBI informant in 2009 or any other time, in the formal law enforcement sense of the term. The news coverage reporting the claim all emphasizes that it's based on Johnson's wording, not on documented FBI files. So a couple of you may be wondering what informant means, what they meant by informant on this specific topic, so I'll be going into that right now. An FBI informant, also called confidential human resource, is someone formally recruited by the FBI to give information confidentially, usually with oversight and agreement from the Bureau. There's no public record from the FBI or DOJ, Department of Justice, confirming that Trump had ever had that formal status. There we go. Okay, so I found some related claims as well on this topic about Trump being a Spygate, so I thought it was relevant to mention it. Separately, there's a different and well-debunked claim, often called Spygate, that the FBI placed an informant in Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, not that Trump himself was an informant. This was a claim Trump and allies made about surveillance tactics. The DOJ inspector generally found that the FBI did use confidential resources in the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, but not as campaign spies placed by the Obama administration. During a 2009 civil suit involving victims of Jeffrey Epstein, Trump spoke with a victim's attorney and was described as cooperative. Some people equate that with helping law enforcement, but this is not the same thing as being an FBI informant. It is two different things. Just helping and like building a case is like day and night. Like, let's be serious. Okay, summary. There's no verified evidence that Donald Trump was an FBI informant in 2009 in the formal sense. The claim stems from a single confusing comment by a politician that was later walked back, not from FBI records or official DOJ confirmation. So there is no official confirmation from any sources, as in the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice, saying that Trump was ever an informant. So, bottom line, what I know, is that he was not, because all the evidence points to that. So, any person trying to say that is, how do I say this, either not saying it correctly or doesn't have the evidence. So, to the person that asked me to review this, hope this helped. Hope I did it in a very, very good manner. Let me know if you guys have anything else you'd like me to talk about. So yeah, that's it for today. Hope I helped you guys in a way. Hope I educated you in a way or two as well. And yeah, these videos take me a very, very long time, anywhere from 8 to 9 hours to edit. So please, if you consider subscribing, it would mean the world to me. I would appreciate it so much. Share this around with some people who you think might find this information useful. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day or night, depending on where you are or what time it is.